photograph I've been trying to take for 3 visits. I kept coming back to Porthleven Harbour, this small village on the Cornish coast, with 1 camera and 1 lens. And then every morning I'd walk the same stretch of the wall, look at the same boats, watch the same light move across the water. And every morning I'd come home without the shot I was after. This is what the 3rd morning visit gave me, because the story of how this photograph happened is the reason I think it's worth putting on the wall. I first came to Porthleven because someone told me it was quiet, that the tourists hadn't really found it yet. But that's not true. And they were, but quiet isn't the same as easy to photograph. The first time I was there, I shot everything. Boats, the nets, the light on the water. I came back with 40 frames, and none of them were the photograph. They were all accurate. None of them were true. The harbour looked like a harbour. This is what it felt like to stand here. Be still, to let the place settle. The second time, I made myself slow down. I had 1 lens, a 35mm equivalent, and I couldn't zoom in on the interesting bits and ignore the rest. I had to get physically close or physically far back. And that movement forced me to actually look at what I was trying to photograph. There was a moment where I had a choice, but to get the frame I wanted, I had to walk up to him. No zoom, no cheating. I had to commit. And just as I raised the camera, he looked up and smiled, and that was gone. The moment I'd seen wasn't the moment I got, but the one I got was better. By the 3rd time, I'd stopped planning altogether. I knew where the light would come from. I knew the boats would be in. I walked to the wall, sat down, and waited. And that's when this happened. Yeah, I don't want to over-explain it. The short version is, there was a man who'd been spearfishing, and he was getting changed by the harbour wall for who he was. I didn't speak to him. He never looked at me. I made 1 frame. This one. Most people would have taken 50 shots the first day and moved on. Got the nice harbour photo, ticked it off. When you've got only 1 lens, you can't really collect. You just have 1 thing. And that 1 thing forces a question. What is this place actually about? Not what does it look like. What is it about? I think there's something in the practice of returning, going back to the same place, the same stretch of wall, and letting it show you something you missed the first time. It's closer to what you do when you really want to understand something. A person, a place, a piece of music. You don't get it all at once. You keep showing up. The constraint, 1 camera, 1 lens, it forces you to return, because you can't cover the whole harbour in 1 visit. You're always going to come back. And the photograph you make on the 3rd visit is the one that's worth living with. I was standing just behind this guy. The light was coming just to the right, early afternoon light. A bit sharp maybe. What you don't know when you look at this photograph, and what I didn't know when I pressed the shutter, is about 4 seconds later he jumped down off the wall, turned around, went to the back of his vehicle and picked up a fish that was on the pavement. He doesn't know I'm there. It's between him and the harbour. And this is a limited edition print. It's 1 of 50. Each one signed and numbered. Unframed, it's £95, English. Framed, properly framed, in a dark wood that does justice to what's in it. It's £2.75. Every order ships with a small printed card that tells a story. The harbour, the visits, the man on the wall. They know what they're looking at. Link in the description, as always. If you want to know when the next print drops, before I post it anywhere, the newsletter is where that happens. It goes out once a month. 1 photograph, 1 story. That's it. No noise, no filler. Just whatever I've been shooting and whatever it taught me about paying attention. The link to the sign up is in the description. Same as the shop. There are more mornings to sit on that wall.